Alright, Junior here, and today we're going to talk about something that a lot of folks, well, they just plain ignore until it's too late and their wallet's screaming for mercy. I'm talking about those little and sometimes not so little noises your car makes. Now your car, she ain't got a mouth to tell you what's wrong, but believe you me, she's got her own way of communicating. Those squeaks, rattles, knocks, and whines, that's her talking to you. Paying attention to these sounds, learning what they mean, that's one of the smartest things any car owner can do. Ignoring a strange sound from your vehicle is like ignoring chest pains. It might be nothing serious, or it could be the prelude to a major mechanical heart attack. So, in this video, we're going to dive deep into some of the most common and most critical car noises you absolutely should not ignore. Stick around, because this is information every single driver needs to know, whether you're driving a brand new machine or an old classic. Alright, let's kick things off with a sound that's probably familiar to most of you, that high-pitched, ear-grating squeal every time you hit the brake pedal. If your car sounds like a banshee wailing when you slow down, that's a clear sign your brakes are telling you something important. This squealing is often caused by a wear indicator. It's a small piece of metal in your brake pads. When worn down, it scrapes against your brake rotor, making that awful noise. It's designed to be annoying. It's your car's way of shouting, "Hey, my brake pads are almost shot. Get 'em changed." Don't assume it's just the wear indicator and keep driving. Sometimes that squealing can be caused by other things too. Maybe you got some cheap, low-quality brake pads put on last time and they're just noisy. Or, you could have glazed brake rotors, where the surface is super smooth and hard and the pads can't grip 'em right. Dust and debris can also cause some squeaking. But 9 times out of 10, if it's a consistent high-pitched squeal, those pads are telling you their life story is coming to an end. And trust me, you do not want to hear that grinding sound. That means you've worn completely through the brake pad material and now you've got metal scraping directly on metal. When that happens, you're not just looking at a simple brake pad replacement anymore. Now you're looking at potentially having to replace your rotors too, which can easily double or even triple the cost of your brake job. So that little squeal, that's your early warning system. Heed the call, get it checked out, and save yourself a boatload of cash and a whole lot of potential danger. Don't be a knucklehead and ignore it. Next up, let's talk about those mysterious rattles coming from underneath your car. You're driving along, maybe you hit a bump or accelerate, and suddenly you hear this metallic clanking or rattling sound. It's definitely coming from below. Often it's caused by a loose heat shield. These thin metal shields protect the undercarriage from extreme heat. Over time, bolts or clamps can loosen or break, causing the shield to rattle. While it might not seem catastrophic, it's definitely annoying. And if it gets loose enough, it could rub against other components or fall off. Imagine that thing flying off on the highway, not good for anyone. Plus, a loose heat shield around your catalytic converter isn't protecting other parts from heat. So, that little rattle could be a sign of a bigger headache brewing. But heat shields ain't the only culprits. Sometimes, the exhaust system itself can be the source. Maybe a hanger is rusted through and broken, letting the pipe sag and bang. Or the insides of your catalytic converter or muffler could have broken apart. If the catalyst material comes loose, it can rattle around, meaning a pricey replacement. So if you hear that clanking or rattling, get your car up on a lift or have your trusted mechanic take a peek. It might be a simple fix or a warning of something more expensive if you don't address it. Chapter 3. The dreaded knock. When your engine's got a serious ache. Now we're getting into some really serious territory, folks. If you start hearing a knocking or a deep tapping sound coming directly from your engine, especially one that gets faster as you accelerate, you need to stop what you're doing and pay very close attention. This isn't like a little squeak or a rattle. A knocking engine is often a sign of significant internal problems. This sound, sometimes called rod knock, piston slap, or lifter tick, can mean there's excessive clearance between moving parts inside your engine. One of the most common reasons for an engine to start knocking is low oil level or low oil pressure. Oil is the lifeblood of your engine. It lubricates all those fast-moving parts, keeps them cool, and prevents them from grinding each other into oblivion. If your oil is too low, or if the oil pump isn't doing its job, then those critical components don't get the lubrication they need. When that happens, they start to wear out incredibly fast, create excessive play, and then you get that awful knocking sound. It's your engine screaming in pain, telling you it's starving for oil, or that something inside is seriously damaged. If you hear this sound, the very first thing you should do is check your oil level. If it's low, top it up immediately. and if the knock persists even with good oil level and pressure, you need to get that engine looked at by a professional mechanic, and I mean right away. Continuing to drive with a knockin' engine is a surefire way to turn a repairable problem into a catastrophic engine failure, meaning you'll be looking at a complete engine rebuild or replacement, and that's big, big money. Chapter 4. That whining steering wheel. Is your car groaning for fluid? Let's talk about a sound you hear when turning the steering wheel, a distinct whining or groaning noise. You make a turn or wiggle the wheel while parked, and you hear a hydraulic whine that gets louder the more you turn. Sometimes it might even feel tougher to turn the wheel. This sound is almost always related to your power steering system. Most cars have hydraulic power steering, which uses a pump and special fluid to help you turn the wheels. When that system makes noise, it's telling you something's wrong. The number one culprit for a whining power steering pump is low power steering fluid. Your power steering system needs its own special fluid to operate correctly. If the fluid level drops too low, the pump starts to suck in air along with the fluid. Air in a hydraulic system makes the pump work harder and causes that whining sound. Check your power steering fluid level. If you hear this whine, it usually has min and max lines on it. If the fluid is low, you've got a leak somewhere in the system. It could be a leak from the hoses, the steering rack, or the pump seals. Topping it off might quiet the noise temporarily, but you need to fix the leak to avoid running the pump dry. A whining noise can also mean the power steering pump itself is failing. Ignoring this whine can lead to a failed pump, making the car hard to steer. That's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Chapter 5. The hissing snake in your engine bay. What's that sizzling sound? Let's talk about a sound that can be quite alarming. A hissing sound from the engine bay. This hiss can be accompanied by steam or a sweet smell if it's a coolant leak. A hissing sound usually means something is escaping under pressure. In your engine compartment, it could be your vacuum system or cooling system. Both are critical for your engine to run properly, so a hiss is a red flag. A vacuum leak means a hose has cracked, split, or disconnected. Your engine uses vacuum for many things like the brake booster and emissions system. A significant vacuum leak can cause a rough, idle, poor acceleration and trigger your check engine light. The hiss is the sound of air being sucked into the engine through an unintended opening. Listen carefully to pinpoint the general area of the leak. A small piece of hose can cause a big headache if not found. A hissing sound can also be a leak in your cooling system. If there's a crack in a radiator hose or a failing water pump seal, hot coolant can escape as steam or a spray, making that hissing noise. You might also smell the sweet aroma of antifreeze. This is serious because if your engine loses coolant, it can overheat quickly. An overheating engine can lead to catastrophic damage like warped cylinder heads or even a seized engine. If you hear a hiss and suspect it's coolant, pull over, let the engine cool down, and check your coolant level. Don't ever open a hot radiator cap. Address any cooling system leak immediately. It's not something you can put off. Outro. Don't just drive, listen, your wallet will thank you. So there you have it, folks, a rundown of some of the most common and critical noises your car can make, and why you absolutely positively should not ignore them. These sounds are your car's way of waving a big red flag, trying to get your attention before a small, manageable issue snowballs into a wallet-pulverizing repair bill. Think of yourself as a car whisperer, or at least someone who's learned to understand its language. When your car starts talking with a new squeal, rattle, knock, whine, or hiss, it's not trying to annoy you, it's asking for a little bit of help. Addressing these noises promptly is key. The sooner you investigate and fix the root cause, the less damage is done, and the less money flies out of your pocket. The smart move, the money-saving move in the long run, is to take it to a trusted, competent mechanic. Let them use their expertise and their tools to diagnose the problem properly. A good mechanic will find the issue and fix it right the first time, preventing further damage and potentially saving you from a breakdown on the side of the road. Listen to what it's telling you, be proactive about maintenance and repairs, and it'll serve you well for many miles and many years to come. Rev up your engines and drive smart.